I love this quote. Why do we fall, sir? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up. Anyone? Who's gonna get it? Anybody? No? Oh, thank you. Oh, yes, Thomas. Thomas gets it. Thank you. Actually, I private messaged Thomas and told him the answer. So Thomas didn't actually. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. A couple of you guys know. Okay, cool, folks. I say guys, but you know what I mean. Everyone, you all, y'all, ustedes. Okay, enough silliness. I have this quote number one because it's I love the movie. I love the whole trilogy, the Christopher Nolan trilogy. But you you need this. You need to remember this because this program, this degree program, not even this course, but every course at Full Sail, it's going to challenge you. You're gonna There's gonna be assignments where you're gonna be stepping outside of your comfort zone, and I just want you to know, and maybe you know this already, but yeah, I want you to realize that is totally fine. It's totally normal. You just be ready for it, but definitely don't be afraid of it. It's normal to have a little bit of apprehension, a little anxiety, but it's going to make you the better. It's going to make your artistry, your craft stronger, better, more diverse, and yeah, totally normal. And you might trip up, you might fall down, but hey, you got to get back up. You have to get back up. You will never, ever regret getting back up. Anyway, sorry to nerd out on you with the whole Batman quote, but I just love it. I love this film. I love the message. Anywho, I will just stop. Okay, so I'm going to talk a lot about the 2.3 and 2.4 assignments today. So I know you guys have a ton of questions. So my first thing is just please, 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 um, be patient with me. I'm going to try to knock out all those questions as soon as possible. I'm going to show you guys an example of the 2.4 planning a presentation assignment. And I'm pretty sure, I'm confident that after you look at that assignment, you'll feel a little bit better as far as like what to do, how to approach it, and so on. Um, so as far as like what you should be doing, obviously you want to get started on the 2.3 and 2.3 2.4 assignments ASAP. Preferably right after the session starts. Also, if you haven't done this already, definitely check your recording capabilities of your whatever device you're using, desktop, laptop, PC, Mac, iPhone, whatever. Check the recording capabilities of your device. You got a mic? Do you need a mic? I'm here to tell you, if you don't have a mic, you don't need an expensive mic. A lot of people, they just use the earphones that came with their smartphone, and it works just fine. A lot of students do that, and it gets the job done. So I mean, and I've seen mics run as little as $6 at your local um, electronic shop, whatever. But yeah, uh, Cody, you might not even. Cody asked for the phone. Is there an app that you want us to use? You might not even need an app as far as recording. Everybody uses a different app because they're using different devices. So that's why I don't want to recommend just one specific one. And in fact, I'm going to talk a little bit more about kind of like how to angle that issue in just a bit. But like for example, the only time I think you might need an app is if you want to edit your audio. Like say you want to kind of, maybe if you're doing a recording and you want to get rid of some, maybe you got a lot of you knows in there, or a lot of awkward pauses, a lot of ums, or maybe your dog just decided to go crazy and got a little Cujo in the background. You want to edit the barking, then yeah, maybe you might need something like yeah, GarageBand would be fine, Kendra. A free app online. There is Audacity. That is a free audio editing program. It's very similar to GarageBand, very user friendly. Tons and tons of how to tutorials online. I'm gonna type that in the chat box Just give me 1 second. Audacity. Audacity free online audio editing program. There. So yeah, if you type that into the Google or whatever search browser you use, you'll see it. It'll pop up. A lot of students use Audacity, but again, you might find that you don't need it. You don't need it. But again, just bear with me. I'm going to try to talk a lot about some of the frequently asked questions, and so yeah. So you definitely want to begin exploring with a presentation program that suits your device. And this is for next week. This week's assignment, you don't really need a presentation program like Keynote or PowerPoint or Prezi or Adobe Spark. Because the 2.3 assignment, the emotional storytelling assignment, that can be strictly an audio recording. And the 2.4, you definitely won't need a presentation program. Again, more details on that in just a moment. So yeah, for like the reason I bring this up, the reason why I say begin exploring, begin looking for a presentation program is because next week you will need your presentation program. Next week you will need something like PowerPoint or a Keynote or Adobe Spark, and so on. So yeah, the best thing that I would suggest to do is whatever device you're using, kind of customize your search online to see what is the best presentation program for your device. Like, I don't know, maybe if you got an iPhone, just type in something like best presentation programs for iPhone. Same thing if you're on a PC and so on. So that is the best thing that you should do, is to kind of like get an idea of what you should use. And in some cases, you might need to, kind of mess around with different presentation programs. You might open up PowerPoint and you might decide, I don't really like PowerPoint. I'm not really feeling it. Let me try something else. So yeah, I'm just kind of like throwing these out there to give you a little heads up, and a little, you don't want to get till next Saturday and be like, oh my God, I need a presentation program. What am I going to use? So yeah, I'm all about the planning and preparing. Okay. So yeah, as always, just a reminder, we are recording. We are recording this session. Albany asked, what else is there other than PowerPoint? There are many. There are many presentation programs. And that's why I recommended doing, just do a customized search online for, depending on what device you have. Like if you have a Mac, what presentation programs are best for Mac, and so on. Adobe Spark is really user friendly. Adobe Spark is for iOS and Mac users, and it's free. But there's so many presentation programs, and again, we don't really limit you guys to using one specific program, because we know, this guy might be on a PC, this guy might be on a Mac, this guy might be on an iPhone. Again with the guy, I don't mean guy. You know what I mean. Anywho. So yeah, so this session is going to be recorded. So I mentioned this last week, but just as a refresher, I will upload the recording on to this week's discussion board. So in other words, I'll be uploading it to the 2.3 discussion board. I will also post it as an announcement. And yeah, that's where you can find the recording. So let's say maybe you missed something, or you want to rewind the recording and go back to it, that's where it will be. Cool. All right, so let's talk about the week 1 assignments. Just kind of want to give you guys a heads up as far as where I am with the grading. Now, here's how it works. So they were due yesterday, right? So I don't begin grading them until the day of the deadline. I wait till I get them all, just out of fairness for everyone, and then I record. I'm sorry, and then I begin grading. So since they were due Monday, you won't see grades on them until Wednesday and Thursday. I am I as soon as I get them, that's what I do. I just try to hammer out those grades as fast as I can. Um, and I'm sorry, I hate to sound pathetic, but that's the fastest I can do. Now, next week's assignment, like the 2.3 reply posts and the 2.4 plan, those will be due Monday. I'm sorry, Sunday. My brain is kind of all over the place, and I do apologize. So yeah, the 2.3 reply posts and the 2.4 planning a presentation are due Sunday. So I get started on the grading for those on Monday. So just kind of giving you an idea how the grading works. But yeah, what I do is I open up your assignment, I review it, I provide you some suggestions and notes for you to look at, and then I fire it right back. And yeah, that's that. That's the sitch on that. Just a little reminder, just try to be as resourceful as possible. If you, for whatever reason, you can't get the assignment to me, I don't know, maybe there's an issue with the platform. Just, do whatever it takes. Try something like Dropbox. Anybody use Dropbox before? Dropbox is a really, really handy tool for file sharing. It's great for when you're in a pinch, but that's just my it's going to be very, very handy throughout your career. If you can't, if you need to file share with someone, all right. And of course, that is the number right here. If you are having any kind of technical issue, this is the number to call. 855-374-3572. That is FSO support. Just tell them what's going on, and they'll help you out. Alrighty. So yeah, Dropbox is good. It's pretty easy to use. I think it's free for a certain size. Like if you want mega mega size, then you gotta upgrade and pay. But I think I forget how much is free, but it'll get the job done if you need it. And of course, the best thing to do is reach out to me if you're having any kind of problem, or something is going crazy in your life. Please reach out to me ASAP, because I hate it when it's too late and I can't do anything about it, and I'm just kind of like, man, I wish you would have reached out to me sooner. Anywho, let's proceed. All right, so yeah, this is very, very helpful, not just for this class, but for all your classes at Full Sail. You're gonna want to submit your assignment at least a couple of hours prior to the deadline. I mean, if you can get it sooner than that, if you can get it in sooner than that, even better. But, definitely, see what happens is, and it's just Murphy's Law, the closer you wait to the deadline, something always will happen. Your computer will crash, or your internet will crash, something will happen. So, or maybe the software that you're using or computer will glitch out. You want to give yourself time, ample time, to iron out any kinks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I apologize, Albany, about the confusion as far as the due dates for last week's assignment. Um, let's see here. Okay, moving right along. All right, so again, I know you guys have a lot of questions about the 2.3 and the 2.4. I'm going to be talking about that all class long. Cool. Okay, so the 2.3 assignment, it's two-part. The first part is a recording where you're going to be recording your voice, and that is due tomorrow by midnight. Now, the reply posts for that are due Sunday. The reply posts for the 2.3 emotional storytelling assignment are due Sunday. Cool. Now the 2.3, just a kind of like brief tip or reminder or overview, whatever you want to call it. All I can say is try not to choose the same topic that another classmate chooses. As it, any of you have read the instructions, you'll find that it's the instructions kind of really general overview, summary, or whatever. It says to pick your favorite piece of art. Now, that can be anything as long as it's art. And you guys know that the umbrella for art is pretty huge. So if you want to talk about the artwork in Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda, if you want to talk about the artwork in there, great. If you want to talk about the artwork in Witcher or the story in Witcher, great. If you want to talk about your favorite opera, that's cool. Favorite symphony, favorite painting, sculpture. So that's what I'm saying. But as far as this right here, try not to choose the same one. Like if you see that somebody else wanted to talk about Dead Space, they're talk about something else, right? So anyway, I don't know. That just came to my mind. Dead Space. Sorry, I like horror things. I like scary things. Okay, moving right along. Oh yeah, let me address this issue. Good question, Kendra. I'm gonna answer that in just a bit. Hang tight. I apologize. I know, I know, I know everybody has so many questions about that. Okie dokie. So as far as the chat box on this, on the control panel for this go-to training program here, the reason why it's, well, first of all, it doesn't have the technology to record the chat box. I think a long time ago, Full Sail used a different program, and that might have recorded the chat box. But one of the things that was an issue we found was that a lot of students were actually complaining about the chat box. They were saying, "Hey, I don't really want to see everybody's comments. Some people are kind of getting off topic and starting to talk about their favorite films while you're trying to explain the assignment. It's really distracting." So a lot of students were saying that. They were saying it's way too distracting. I don't like it. So that's another reason why it hasn't been, optimized or worked around or whatever. So we just, you know, it's not there. It's not a tool. Anywho, and most of the time it's fine but there are unfortunately times where the students will get off topic, or they'll start networking or whatever. And hey, I am all about networking. I'm but the problem is that you might miss something really important, like a key component that I'm trying to explain during an assignment, and because you're networking during the session. So as far as networking, I would just recommend get the students' email or number afterwards, and yeah, network your heart out, because it is important. It is important to network. Anywho, so that is the whole issue with the chat box thing. That was the main thing that students were saying, that it was a big distraction. And I don't want to be that kind of teacher that says, "Hey, Joe Schmo, stop talking about the latest Star Wars film. You should be paying attention to me." I don't want to be that kind of teacher. So anywho, Roland, right? Yeah. So because you guys are adults, right? It's a 2.4 assignment. So the biggest thing with the 2.4 assignment is you shouldn't use a presentation program like PowerPoint or Keynote or Prezi or Adobe Spark. And the reason is that it's not a presentation. The 2.4 assignment is not a presentation. It's a plan. It's a plan. So this week's assignment is designed to help you kind of formulate a strategy for next week's assignment, right? Next week's assignment, that's when you're going to be creating a full-blown presentation. And that's when you'll need something like PowerPoint, Prezi, Adobe Spark, Keynotes, whatever. Right? Do, 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 do. All right. So yeah, and the other thing about the 2.4 assignment is it's not a resume cover letter either. It's, I don't need to see your script on what you're going to say for next week's presentation. The only thing that you need to do is fully and completely address each of the prompts from the 2.4 questions. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But yeah, first things first, you want to make sure you are not using PowerPoint or Keynote or any kind of presentation program for the 2.4 assignment because it's a plan. So you're going to want to be able to write everything out in a kind of outline format. I'll show you what's a much better program to use. Oh yeah, yeah, I will. I'm going to show you guys an example in the Jiffy. Well, in a little bit. All right. So yeah, this 2.4 assignment, it's all a plan. And the thing about it is next week's assignment, you're going to be your whole presentation is basically going to be it's kind of a pitch. It's kind of a pitch where you're going to be pitching yourself to a prospective company. So you're going to talk all about yourself. You're going to talk about what you did at Full Sail, what you did at even before any work related thing that kind of adds to your qualifications. So for example, if maybe after you graduate from Full Sail, your dream is to work for Bethesda, you're going to be creating a pitch to Bethesda. And that's okay if if you don't know right this second what company you want to work for, or maybe you don't want to work for a company. Maybe your dream is to open up your own recording studio. You're still going to be developing a pitch to say maybe a client, maybe a musician, another producer, or an investor, right? So this assignment, the 2.4 plan, is all about research. You're going to be researching your field, what it takes to land a job in that field, what it takes to land a job in Bethesda or Nintendo or Pixar, whatever your dream company may be. And again, like I said, even if you don't know what company that you want to work for, even if you decided on Blizzard, today you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to research Blizzard. I'm going to say that I want to pitch for Blizzard. 3 months from now, I'm not going to send you an email and say, hey, are you still interested in Blizzard? You better be, because if you're not, if you change your mind, you're going to be in trouble. No, it's okay if you change your mind. The idea is to simply do some hardcore research on your company and especially the industry to really, really dig deep and find out what it takes to get into that industry. So, what programs do I use for the 2.4? So, Microsoft Word, Pages, or even something like Google Docs are fine. Because you want to be able to write everything out. You're going to be answering questions based on the research that you conduct. All right? So again, PowerPoint, Keynote, Adobe Spark, they're fine for next week's assignment for your 3.4 first draft presentation, but not for the 2.4. Right? All right. Let's move right along. Okay. So again, this assignment is all about making a plan. It's all about making a pitch. And here's the thing. Again, I just want to emphasize to everybody that it's simply a plan. It's kind of like hurricane planning. If you know that there is a hurricane coming to your town, most people plan, right? Most people plan, okay, what am I going to need? Where should I go? Where is there going to be a shelter? It's all about preparing. And it's never a bad thing, is it? It's never a bad thing to plan. Sure, things may change, but you're not going to be the worse off for it. So again, it is a pitch. You're going to be pitching yourself in this presentation. So for example, you might say, or I'll give you an example. let's pretend. Okay, hi, my name's Eddie Tapia. I'm here to talk to you about why you should hire me for Naughty Dog Productions. Or hi, I'm Eddie Tapia. I'm here to talk to you about why you should hire me for Universal Music Group, whatever. And something like that. And then I would go on to talk about a little bit about where I'm from, a little bit about what I did here at Full Sail. And as always, I will show you some sample presentations. So this week's assignment, you don't have to worry too much about that. This week's assignment is strictly the research. Researching a company, researching the industry, researching your Full Sail degree program, right? So yeah, research is key. You will not be able to complete this assignment without doing some, down and dirty research. Research the industry that you're going into. So for example, if you're in, anybody in music production, audio production, anybody? Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so let's pretend that you're in music production, audio production, and you're going to be pitching to, I don't know, Hit Factory or some other nationally acclaimed recording studio, right? Or maybe again, maybe your dream is to open up your own record label, your own recording studio. You still have to research what that takes. So what I would do if that was my goal, I would research at least 5 local and nationally renowned studios. Research the CEOs of those studios. Research who works there. What did it take for them to get there? What do they know? What software program are they proficient in? The more you know, the better off you are. I know that sounds really, really elementary, but it's just incredibly true. Right? Okay. So, what about game art? Is anybody in game art? So, I'm just giving out some examples, like music production examples or game art. So, regardless of what degree program you're in, even if you're in mobile apps, sports development, whatever, digital cinematography, creative writing, the idea behind this assignment is to research. Look for articles, look for interviews of people, right? But research companies that you'd like to work for, and like I said before, don't feel like you're going to be tied to that company because the whole idea is to simply research. You're never going to regret. If you're in game art, even if you don't want to work for Nintendo, you're never going to lose out on researching about Nintendo. Same thing if, give me some other video game companies. Yeah, great, brilliant. Bungie, Riot, absolutely, same thing. Yes, thank you, thank you. You will never regret researching. And again, so find out who their CEOs are, who are the heavy hitters in that company. Research all about their journey. Look on YouTube to see if there's any interviews with them, right? Okay, I talked about this already. All right, so yeah, and I mentioned this, Eddie. What if I don't know what I want to do when I graduate? That's totally possible. But the whole point of this is to encourage you to look at your options now, because the more you know, the better off you are. Square Enix, brilliant, brilliant suggestions, by the way. All right, all righty. Okay, so you may have seen this already in the instructions. There might be a question that says, "What is your big idea?" Now, here's the thing about that. When we say what is your big idea, we don't mean that, okay, we want you to tell us what that crazy idea you had for, 15 years. No, it's not really about just throwing out any kind of random crazy idea. Like, okay, I had a crazy idea about a food truck that also served as I don't know, a nail salon. Yeah, okay, great. Well, so what's your degree program? Well, it's music. Okay, how does that relate to your degree program? It doesn't, but it's a great idea. All right, that's not really what we're looking for, right? You can't just really pitch a random idea for anything. It's got to be directed. It's got to benefit you. It's got to benefit your degree, what you are specifically studying, right? So yeah, and ultimately, it is a persuasive presentation. In some ways, it's a little like a resume. So, in most resumes, the interviewers want to know two things. They want to know who you are, tell us a little bit about who you are, but they also want to know what you can do for that company. They don't really want to hear you ramble on for an hour long about what your philosophies on art are or philosophies about your music. They want to know that specifics. What do you know? What programs do you know? What can you do in the studio, right? It's all about a persuasive presentation. And again, I'm going to show you how to do that, how exactly to do that in Jiffy. So yeah, ideas are just ideas unless they're supported. Anybody can say just something random like, I want to change the world through my music. Hey, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's very commendable. But if that's all you talk about in your presentation, you're not going to really land that pitch because anybody can walk into that interview and say that. So you want to talk about your qualifications. So how do you find out about your qualifications? By doing your research, right? Um, Somebody said it's kind of like a TED Talk. It is in the sense that it's next week's assignment is going to be a presentation. It's a pitch, but it's also a presentation. Um, but as far as TED Talk, I'll be the first to admit I've seen hundreds of TED Talks. Some of them moved me to tears, and some of them bored me to tears. So, you know what I'm saying? So some TED Talks are great, others are not so great. But yeah, but in the sense that TED Talks are all about presentations, yeah, it's similar to that. Anywho, so yeah, you're going to definitely want to research your Full Sail journey, research your degree programs. This part for this assignment is terribly important. Terribly important. Researching your degree program. You would be surprised how many people don't really just, I'm talking with a fine tooth comb, review their degree program. I'm talking like every class that they're going to take. A lot of us we just kind of like, we'll review it briefly. Everything looks good, but we don't really look at every class from month 1 all the way up to graduation. Now, that's important to do. It's very, very important to do because it's going to give you the knowledge and the know-how to know what to talk about in the interview. So I'm sorry, not the interview, the pitch. So when you are pitching to an employer, to a studio, whatever, or you're studying computer animation, you can say, or game art, you can say, I graduated from Full Sail University. I'm proficient in Unity, Real Engine, whatever, so on. But you won't know that unless you really research your degree program. Cool, cool. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Um, what I would do if you got a printer is go on to, you don't have to do it right this second, but after the session ends, just jump on the main Full Sail website page. Go to courses. I'll type it in here. Um, Courses, I'm sorry, look, program, courses. Yeah. So you go to the main Full Sail website, look for your degree program on there, click on that. Once you click on your degree program, you should see a button that says courses. Once you click on courses, I believe it's on the left-hand side. You might have to scroll around there, spend a little time navigating where it is. You will see a downloadable PDF file that'll show you all of the courses that you will be taking in your degree program. Just review them carefully, every single one. You will not regret it. You will not regret it. So another reason I constantly encourage students to do that is sometimes after researching our degree program, we might find that, hey, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know I was going to take that, or I didn't know that my degree was about this. I think this degree is better suited for me. So they end up changing degree programs. So that's yet another reason why you should. I also think it's cool to, if you print it out, just put it up on your wall, because it's neat it's kind of like planning. You could see what's coming down the road. You can research them, whether by the description or just typing into YouTube. And maybe you might find out that course is a beast. So, but guess what? It's not till month 6, and now you can actually get a heads up on it. You can actually do some research on it, right? You get into that course and you have that advantage. Anyhow, so yeah, definitely research your degree program. So what I recommend is doing your research in order to fully answer the questions. Like don't go into the instructions and then just start randomly trying to answer the questions. I would do the research as you are answering them, right? And of course, there shouldn't be any kind of question as far as what field you're going into. Like when I open up your plan, when you submit your plan to me, I open it up, there should be no question. I don't want to look at the plan and have to figure out, wait, what is he in game art? Is he a creative writing student? What's going on here? So whether you want to type it at the top, what your field is or degree program, that would be good. So yeah, just jot it down: graphic design, computer animation, game art, whatever the case may be. Okay, so again, these are some good programs to use for the 2.4 assignment. There's Microsoft Word, there's Google Docs. I know I mentioned this before, just a little review. I mean, if you got a Mac, you want to use Pages, that's totally cool. All right, so who's ready to look at a 2.4 sample? Hang on 1 second. Okay, cool. All right, 1 second. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, folks. I can't show my screen. Nobody saw my screen, right? Okay, cool. All right, so check this out. So this right here, folks, is a student sample. Unfortunately, I can't make it downloadable because it does belong to a student. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it. I'm not going to read it sentence by sentence, but I'm going to scroll through it slowly. That way, during the recording, you can always press pause and read it as you like. But anyway, so the reason why I'm showing this sample is, number one, the student received high marks. They received a very good grade because of, one, the detail in their responses. They're very detailed responses. And two, how well organized this is. This is not just, as you can see, this is not just like one big fat paragraph. Everything is broken up nicely, neatly into categories. Yes? So this student decided that their company that they wanted to choose to pitch to was Netflix. So that's their target audience. Their target audience is Netflix. And so let me just read the first part. Target audience is the executives at Netflix who have the power to decide which TV movie scripts are greenlit. They want someone with creative ideas, creative and original ideas who can sell themselves as well as their script. Netflix would be ideal because I would be given more creative freedom as opposed to working for a network. Alrighty. So first, they identified who their company is, who their target audience is, the whys, and they answered the questions from the prompts. That's very, very, very important to do for this 2.4 assignment. You always want to make sure you're really addressing all the questions from the instructions. Okay, moving right along. True message. What's my true message? Here, the student said, I'm doing this presentation because I want my story, my script to be out there for people to see. I want people to connect with it and learn from it and maybe even bond with other people over it. After watching my presentation, I want my audience to feel the emotions I use in my voice and in the story. Right? Okay, and continuing on. My future self. My future self. So, the student said, I imagine myself as someone who's worked in the entertainment business for at least a few years after graduating from Full Sail. I may or may not have a book published. See, it's all about goals. It's all about making goals, researching the industry, yes, and researching the company. Okay. And look what they do here. I love this part too. So, remember how I said that this assignment was a pitch and that they were pitching to a company? So in a pitch, as if you were pitching in an interview, you can't just randomly talk about what you want. You have to talk about what you know. So this student, they researched the heck out of their degree program and they picked a handful of courses that they felt would benefit them, benefit their credibility. So look what they say here. These skills would come from classes such as script writing techniques, visual thinking and writing, literary techniques, story development, developing new worlds, environmental and historical research, writing, workshop, film. Okay, you get the point. You see what they did there? So after researching their degree program, they picked a handful of courses to include in their pitch. All of these courses would give me what I need and more to become successful in the entertainment industry. All right, so moving right along. Now, you will notice in the instructions there's a part that says beginning, middle, and end. Here's the thing. I don't necessarily need to see your script, your word for word script as far as what exactly you're going to say. What I do need to see is a general idea. Like, tell me in the beginning what you think you're going to talk about. And then tell me in the middle what you think you're going to talk about. And then tell me in the end what you think you're going to talk about. You see what I'm saying? I don't need to see the whole thing, like the real script. Just give me a general idea. So here, they basically gave me a general idea of like where they came from, where they're from, what they did, some previous work that they some projects and so on, some of their interests. Same thing with the middle part. Here they talked about some Full Sail courses, and in the end, they kind of wrapped it up. Star moment. Be thinking about what you want to talk about as far as your star moment goes. We all know what a star moment is, yes? Star moment. So a star moment is something they will always remember you by. Because just imagine this. Just imagine an employer, they have stacks and stacks of resumes, stacks of candidates. So you have to think about what is going to make you stand out. Because I'll tell you what it can't be, or it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be just you saying, I love video games, or I love music, or I love animation. No, because they hear that all the time. So that might be true. Maybe you do love video games. Hey, I love video games too, but am I qualified to work at Riot Games? Whatever. No, I'm definitely not. So you gotta give them a lot more, something more unique than that. So A star moment can be a quote. It could be a special quote, a unique quote. Quotes are always cool because they make you think. Usually, after you read a quote, it kind of stays with you for a little while, right? So it can be a quote, it could be a powerful image. I hope that you will use nothing but powerful images. I hope that you will stay away, far, far away from clip art, right? Anywho, um, you're like, what's clip art? Just do a search for Microsoft clip art. You'll know what I'm talking about. It used to be the rage. Oh, oh God, what, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. Anywho, so it's just generic. Just imagine very generic, kind of quirky, mass-produced art. I kind of cringe in saying that, the word art. Anywho, so that's what a star minimum is all about. So I'm not saying that for the 2.4 assignment, you need to know what your star moment is, but really, really be thinking about it. Be thinking about, okay, what can I say to my audience? Maybe I can share a personal story with my audience that, they'll remember. Stories are just fantastic. People remember stories more so than they remember facts. They're going to remember a story much, much better than if you just say, hey, I just love video games. I love, been playing them all my life. Because when it's all said and done, they have unfortunately heard that many, many times. Um, Good question. So a star moment, just to kind of clarify, star moment can really, you can put this in the beginning of your presentation. You can put it at the end. You can have more than one star moment. The idea is, how can I explain it better? A star moment is kind of like your mic drop moment. Okay, that's the best I can do. But you know what I mean? Usually in a mic drop moment, people are like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember that. That they don't remember the mic drop, they remember what you said before it. Um, yeah, basically, it's the thing that would make it all worth it. It's the thing that they're going to remember you by. So whether that's a personal story that you share, maybe you want to talk about a very, very unique time in your life, like the very, very first time you picked up the guitar. As long as it's a unique story, great, great. But yeah, the idea is just be critical. Be critical about it. It's always be thinking, is this unique? Is this special? Is this going to stand out? And if you're not sure, just send me an email. We'll chat about it. Totally, totally happy to chat about it. So yeah, the beginning of the presentation, like, right here, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, some interests. Middle part should be you talking about your qualifications, what you did at Full Sail, some courses that you completed, and the end kind of like, the star moment, if you will. Be thinking about how you want to wrap up your presentation. All right. So that is it. That is the example that I have for you. Um, Again, I didn't want to read every single sentence because, first of all, it's incredibly boring for you guys for me to read it to you. um, I just you can always pause it on the recording. I think you'll get much more. It'll be much better for you to do that. But absolutely, a PDF is acceptable to submit. You can totally submit a PDF to me. I don't mind at all. Yeah, but the main thing that I want you to think about for this, the main reason I'm showing you this specific example is they got a very good grade, but they got a good grade because of how in depth, how detailed their responses are, and how organized it was. Cool. All right, so research is key. Okay. Let's move right along. 2.3 emotional storytelling. This is by far my favorite assignment. I learned so much about you guys in these assignments. They're great. That's totally how I discovered what the heck Naruto was. Because I kept hearing students talk about it, and it was just I had to find out. It's like, what is this? What is this all about? Students would talk to me about it like all the time. That how this show or this manga series changed their life, and taught them all about friendship and hope and courage. And finally, I had to had to watch it, and I've been hooked ever since. But anyhow, so yeah, you can essentially pick anything, any as far as your favorite piece of art. It could be a painting, it could be a song, it could be a movie, it could be a video game. Talk to me about the artwork in the video game. Talk to me about the story in a video game, right? The umbrella for art is quite huge. So let's talk about some tips as far as how to approach this. I would definitely check out the Julian Treasure video on your 2.3 activity link. So he's just going to basically give you some tips, some presentation tips. Sounds really mundane. Yes, he's going to tell you how to talk during a presentation and so on, but that kind of stuff really helps for this. The vocal toolbox, also watch that video. It's going to show you how to essentially manipulate your voice, where you want to be talking from and where you don't want to be talking from. So these two, definitely want to do. All right. So for your 2.3, like I said, the recording part is due tomorrow. Please label your file and the post. So in other words, if you decide to talk about Naruto, jot that down. Please write it down, because sometimes what just kills me is I'll get this recording and they're talking about this film and it just sounds like the most amazing movie. And then when they go to pronounce the film, I don't know what happens. They're just kind of like their voice fades out or something. Oh, and that's why I love the movie. And I'm like, what did you say? What did you say? So yeah, please help me out. Jot it down, the name of whatever it is that you want to talk about. Yeah, absolutely. You can talk about anime. I would love it if you kind of narrowed it down to maybe one or two anime. That'll give me a better idea. So please include your name, the name of the art, and just jot down 2.3 emotional storytelling. Remember how in the beginning of the session I was talking about your comfort zone? For some people, and myself included, this is kind of one of those things. Some people don't like to, they don't like the sound of their voice. And yeah, I hate the sound of my voice. I sound so nasally and annoying, and I sound like a, big nerd. Not that nerds are bad or anything. But anywho, so one thing that is really that will help you get over your anxiety, your nerves, is their script. Write out a script, right? I'm not saying you have to memorize your script, and I definitely don't recommend reading from it word for word, because you sound like a robot. You don't want to sound like a robot, but writing out a script is number one. It's going to help you stay on track. It's going to help you meet the time requirement. And also, most importantly, it's going to help you really nail the important questions from the instructions. That's absolutely key. You never want to just wing it or improvise, because you will go over the time limit, or you might go under it. And you might find out, hey, I forgot to talk about that. Oh, crud, right? So I can't stress that enough. Write out a script. And the more you rehearse your script, the more you read it, the more confident you're going to feel about yourself. And that's the whole idea. You want to sound confident and you want to feel confident, because when you feel confident, you sound confident. Right? Darth Hiccup. I like that. Yeah, you can include the class name. Just create a presentation would be totally fine. What I would recommend also is time it. After you feel like you've written out, okay, you wrote out the script, you've answered all the questions on the script, read it out to yourself and time it. Make sure that you're within the time limits, 2 to 3 minutes. You don't want to go under 2 minutes or over 3 minutes. And articulate, project your words. Passion is key. Passion is key, right? And I know you don't have to sound like Daffy Duck after 12 Red Bulls. No, you don't. We're passionate in our own way. You know what I'm saying? But you definitely want to have some passion. And one easy way to do that is just by articulating your words, projecting your voice. Maybe don't record laying down because you won't get the full tonal quality. Try different things: standing up, sitting down. Sitting up straight, of course. You don't want to slouch. Um, yeah. So let's see here. Okay, 2 to 3 minutes long, not under. It's got to be at least 2 minutes long, not to exceed three. What do I mean by emotional? Because that word kind of makes some people feel uncomfortable. Like Eddie's asking me to be all touchy and feely. What the heck do you mean, Eddie? So all we mean is, when you pick your favorite piece of art, pick something that you feel, kind of connected to. Don't Not just something random, right? Just something that you feel that you like a lot, right? um, Keyword is story. So don't just tell me about your favorite piece of art. Tell me the story about it. Tell me about when you found it, what it means to you. That's what I'm interested in. Why it's your favorite. So it shouldn't sound like a biography or like a book report on the topic. If it's a book, you only need to give me a brief summary. Like if you want to talk about The Hobbit and why it's your favorite book, you don't have to tell me what happens in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, right? Just give me a brief summary because what I mainly want to know is the why you like it. Can you choose something that you can emotionally relate to, like a song? Absolutely. Can we use personal photos? Absolutely. Here's the thing. If you want to use your own work, here let me give you an example. Really, really important example. So I had a student in the past. They asked if they could use their own painting. And I said, fine, tell me a little bit about it. And so the student explained to me why his painting that he painted was so important. So every month for years and years and years, since he was, I don't know, I forget what age it was, but summer after summer, he would go visit his grandmother. And each summer, when he spent time with his grandmother, and he would work on this painting together. They would work on it together. They'd talk about it together. She would give him some suggestions and some pointers about it. And so every summer, they'd work on this painting together. So when she passed away, that painting had a lot of meaning to it. It made a huge impact on him. So absolutely, just tell me the story about why it's important to you. Same. I also had a student tell me about a song that he wrote. And so the reason why it was so important to him, this song was, it represented a very, very serious part of his life. It represented his marriage, where the beginning of the song, it was kind of lighthearted, kind of happy-go-lucky, upbeat. The middle of the song, some kind of strenuous chords were thrown in there. But by the end of the song, it was total chaos. And that represented the kind of crumbling of his marriage. So heck yeah, that was a great story. It was a great story. What I don't want is I don't want you to just say, hey, this is a song I wrote, and I think it's great, and you should think it's great too. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Okay. All right, cool. Brandy, can it be a tattoo? Of course, because tattoos are art. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, tell me the story behind that. Absolutely. So yeah, and I mentioned this earlier. Write the title next to your file. So yeah, for example, I chose to talk about the video game The Last of Us. Awesome game, by the way. Eddie voices his opinion too much. Well, I can't help myself. Okay. Anywho, let's get past this. Okay, so yeah, tell me a story about it and make sure that you're answering all the questions, right? That is key. That is key. Don't spend the entire time telling me every chapter about it. Like, I don't need to know the play, just a brief summary. The main thing I'm interested in is why you like it, why you like it so much, why it's important to you, why is, what's it mean to you, right? So 2.3, and in case you're wondering, I mentioned this briefly. It can be, like I said earlier, the umbrella of art is pretty huge. It can be a painting, a song, a movie, a video game, a symphony, an opera. Uh, Man, so many things. So many things. And I talked about this already. Somebody asked previously, can it be a personal photo? Yeah, absolutely. Kind of going back to what I was saying, as long as you can tell me a story about it, why it's important to you. Absolutely. Sports. How about sports, Eddie? Football, baseball, skateboarding. No, sorry. Hey, I am a sports lover. I am a big sports fan. Grew up with sports, But for this particular assignment, we want you to choose something more under the realm of art, like all of those options that I showed you about. And if you're still kind of on the fence about what you want to choose, just email me. Always happy to chat about it. Always happy. All right. There are so many things you can talk about, folks, and that's why I love this assignment so much. So much. Okay, so I mentioned Audacity. You might not need it. You might need it. It's free, it's out there. A lot of students have used it in the past. Very user friendly. Now, one thing about this assignment, you don't need to film yourself. It can be audio only. In other words, if you just want to do an audio recording for this assignment, that's totally fine. That is totally fine. Now, as far as filming yourself, there's a lot of people in at YouTube that they do that. That's their thing. They review movies, they review video games, they have their own YouTube channel, and they might, if you have experience with that, you feel comfortable doing that. You feel comfortable, producing a good quality recording of yourself, good audio and video recording of yourself, then hey, I'm totally fine with that. But you don't have to film yourself. You can, yeah, absolutely. If you want to put a picture in there, you can. You don't have to. All but the number one thing that I do need to have for this assignment is an audio recording. I need to hear you talking about your favorite piece of art. Audio and then okay, sorry. I'm just trying to read some of these. Do we have instructions on sharing audio recordings to you? Yes, there should be some instructions on the instructions. Very easy. Just a lot of people, they just upload the MP3 files from their phones and upload that. Some people post something on YouTube. Whatever works for you. And again, if you're having technical issues, just give FSO support a buzz. I'll be happy to help you out with that. Alrighty. So, okay, so the choices are just to kind of like review this assignment. It can be audio or it can be audio with pictures or video. It is up to you. But what I do need to have, what I must have, is your audio. Jacqueline, good question. Do we need to provide a copy link to the art we are referring to? That would be great. If you can do that. If you can't for whatever reason, that's fine. But if you can include a copy, of, let's say you want to talk about a favorite song and you want to include a link to that song, awesome. That would be fantastic. That way the class and myself, we know what you're talking about. Um, 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 let's see. Yes. So yeah, you're going to be uploading this to the 2.3 discussion board. Well, I just pressed mute just in time because I had to cough my brains out. I apologize, folks. Can everybody hear me okay? Oh, good question. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Good question, Michael. Can we incorporate this song in the audio recording? Here's the thing. If you want to incorporate the video game, let's say you want to talk about Breath of the Wild and tell me that it's one of the best games ever created. First of all, I would agree with you. Sorry, I had to plug it again. I'm terrible. But yeah, if you want to include gameplay footage of it, I would say that's fine. Just make sure the volume is not so loud. You never want to have the volume of the background audio competing with your voice. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So like if you pick the song and you want to play it in the background, make sure it's not so loud that I can't hear what you're saying. Um, 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 um. Is this a film you created, Albany? Albany said, "Oh, so, yeah, it sounds totally fine." Albany mentioned I have a movie about a baseball player that returned to the game at an older age. His life is a reflection of me as an older Full Sail student. Can I use this? Yeah, you can absolutely use a film if you feel like this is your favorite film or one of your favorite films, or it has some important meaning to you. Absolutely, sure thing. You are welcome. Okay. Now, I know I mentioned this in week one, but just as a reminder, the important note about PowerPoint for mobile. PowerPoint for mobile, it will allow you to make a slideshow, but it doesn't have a record feature to it. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. So just as a reminder, the 3.4 first draft, that will require a presentation tool. This one doesn't. The 2.3 assignment, hey, if you want to use PowerPoint or Keynote, that's fine. But I mainly only need an audio recording. I need to hear your voice. Make sense? And as far as the 2.4 planning a presentation assignment, what programs can we use for that? Pop quiz. What programs did I say were good to use for the 2.4 planning a presentation assignment? Anyone? Yes. Good. Awesome. Thank you, folks. Yeah, Word, Microsoft Word, Google Docs is fine. Pages is fine. Yeah, because you want to be able to write out your responses. Okay. Let's see here. Word, Pages, Docs. Cool. Thank you, folks. Don't forget about lynda.com. It's an awesome resource out there, folks. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And it is free to you guys. All you need to do is go to FS Connect, find the library, click on the library. Once you click on that, you scroll down and you will see lynda.com. Now, the reason why I mention it is because they have a lot of tutorials on Keynote, Prezi, Adobe Spark, and of course, PowerPoint. So as far as the 2.3 assignment, has anybody had a chance to check out the samples that I posted? I posted 2 samples to the 2.3 discussion board? Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. So if you didn't get a chance, definitely check out those 2 samples that I posted. So actually you guys have 3 samples to choose or to look at. There's 1 sample in the instructions. When you open up the 2.3 instructions, you'll see a sample in there. And then I also posted 2 samples, student samples, on the 2.3 discussion board. Now, Jacqueline, you asked, so are we actually doing 2.4 before 2.3? Actually, it's more reverse. So your 2.3 recording is going to be due tomorrow. The reply posts for your 2.3 are going to be due Sunday. Make sense? And then the 2.4 is due when, folks? Yes. You guys are awesome. All right. So yeah, definitely check out those samples that I posted. I think after you check that out, you'll have a much better idea of how to approach this. And folks, if you feel nervous about this, don't. I want you to have fun with this assignment. I want you to have fun with the 2.3 assignment, right? You're talking about your favorite piece of art, so yeah, get into what you're saying, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say because like I said, it's my favorite assignment. I learned so much about you guys. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. And I'm not saying it's normal. It's totally normal to be nervous. I get it. I trust me. I get nervous all the time. But yeah, you know what? Just it's kind of like jumping out of an airplane. Just do it. Just do it, and then once you jump, it's like, okay, I'm out here. All I got to do now is pull the parachute. Okay, that's kind of a horrible example, but you know what I'm saying. It's all about taking risks, because when you take risks, calculated risks, of course, and you plan, your work will be the better for it. But have fun with it. Just have fun with it. And any questions at all about anything, please don't hesitate to contact me. etapia at fullsail.com. Well, let me see if I feel bad if I missed a question, and the chat box goes by really fast, and I apologize if I missed a question, and I'm sorry that I can't record it, but like I said, a lot of people found it very, very distracting. And they were saying, "Hey, how can I turn it off?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't turn it off." But let's see here. The 2.3, so you will be uploading the 2.3 assignment onto the 2.3 discussion board. So that's where you'll do that. Cool? All right, folks. Oh my goodness, I went over the time. Folks, I'm so sorry. I really wanted to show you guys that sample for the 2.4, and I wanted to make sure that I covered the 2.3. Everybody feel pretty good about it? Okay, cool. As far as posting this session's recording, I'm going to try to get it out there in about an hour. What I do is I process the video and make sure everything's okay, and then I upload it as soon as I can. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. All right, folks. Get to it. Have fun. All right, I'm out of here, folks. Take care. Have a wonderful day.